Hello and welcome to Lord of the Board. My name is Sam, and today we are going to be doing a haul for some of the games that I've gotten over the past couple of weeks. Obviously, well, actually, maybe not obviously, but I actually went to PAX just a couple of weeks ago. But while I was at PAX, I actually acquired quite a few smaller box games, and then also I did some Black Friday shopping online, got some other games. I'm going through this like weird period where I'm just kind of getting a lot of small games that interest me, and I really want to curate a nice kind of small box game collection. So I've been starting to do that. So you're going to find that a lot of these games that I got were kind of smaller games, and a lot of them are easy to play, quick to play, that kind of thing. But I do want them to be interesting and like obviously still fit within my type of gaming experience. I obviously do not like every type of small game. There's been so many small games that have come up that I have been like, just pass it along kind of deal. So trying to be, doing the right research and doing kind of the proper looking into things. I went by Bitewing Games, and I actually have a funny story about this. But I went by Bitewing Games. You guys know that I do love Bitewing Games because that's who did Zuvadis and then also Silos. I covered both of their games. They know me a little too well. They know what I like. So something that I was interested in looking at was their small box game collection, and some of these I kind of missed in their Kickstarter. So I want to start off with Soda Smugglers. This was something that I was interested in mostly because I like soda, which seems like a dumb reason, but I looked at a gameplay that Watch It Play did, and I was like, oh, this is great. This is kind of similar to that of Sheriff of Nottingham, where players are going to be trying to smuggle certain sodas through a character like an investigator that's going to be kind of checking their bags. And this investigator player is going to have different tokens where they're able to do different abilities, like search somebody's luggage, or be able to kind of call out that player. And there's a lot of different ways that you can score points, but most of the ways is either they're bringing in too many bottles, which they're only allowed to bring in one bottle. So if you catch somebody bringing in more than one bottle, then you're going to get points for that. And then also the players, when they're smuggling through the bottles, they're going to get points for every bottle that they were able to smuggle. But the funniest thing is that there is also a bribe, and that bribe is placed face up in front of them. And that bribe is saying that if you do not call me out, if you do not catch me and check my luggage, then you get all of these bottles as the investigator. So there are a lot of fun decisions. It's a lot like Sheriff of Nottingham, but this is actually a game by Reiner Knizia. And I loved the idea. I have played it now, and I think it's really, really fun. I also got the bottle caps. I don't know if you can see that very well, but I got like these cute little colorful bottle caps as well with this version. So very, very fun. And this is actually a part of what is called their Criminal Capers collection. So obviously I had to get all of the Criminal Capers games. That's what this is all about, right? Making bad decisions. So the next one is Hot Lead. This is another game, a part of the Criminal Capers collection. And the funniest thing about Hot Lead is that this was the one that I was least interested in, but Kyle from Bitewing Games said that this was his favorite. And when he mentioned that this one was his favorite, I was thinking, oh, well, I should probably get this one as well. But what he described it as was kind of a auction style game. From what I know, you're going to be playing numbers face down, flipping them up, and then taking cards from the middle, from highest to lowest number. And then you're trying to make sure that you don't gather too much of the same color, otherwise you can bust. And then you're just trying to find like multiples of different colors in order to score points. That's what I know of it so far. And that could be way off, but I needed to pick this up because, like I said, I trust Kyle. I love those guys. Kyle and Nick are super, super nice. So it was so nice to swing by the booth and actually meet them in person too. But that is kind of Hot Lead. Like I said, one I know the least about out of these kind of boxes from Bitewing. The next one is Puma Fiosi, which is a trick-taking game. the other one in the Criminal Capers collection. So those 3 games are a part of this collection. But this is a trick-taking game where you're kind of playing in this kind of Puma Mafia type of setting, and because the boss does not want to be kind of shown up, you're actually trying to bid for getting second place in the trick. So you'll be playing cards face up, and whoever gets the second highest card will be winning that trick, placing their card that they played onto a hierarchy track from 10 down to -3 or so. And the weird thing is that when you place your card on that track, you're going to be marking it that it's yours. But other players can later, if they win a trick, can place their Puma if it's a higher number where you were on the hierarchy track of scoring. And if that happens, it's going to bump you down. So this game is a little bit of trick taking, but also a little bit of positional bidding on this hierarchy track, because you're trying to make sure that you put a high number over there. But if you do it too soon, you're giving a lot of opportunities for other players to bump you down. And that whole bumping mechanic, that just keeps happening. So if there's like 3 cards and you have a higher number and you place it on the top, and then the next card is higher, and the next card is higher, and the next card is higher, you're just going to see all of them kind of shift down. Very, very interesting. Only 1 card, I think, can be in the spot. In each spot, except for the -3 spot. That can carry any number of cards. So very cool. Sweet trick-taking game, and also amazing little artwork. Very excited about this. Next one is Gussie Gorillas. So during PAX Unplugged, I actually played a game that was like Pit, and I reminded myself that I love Pit. And that game made me remember how much I loved Pit, how much I love that chaotic trading energy of that game. If you don't know what that is, it's kind of like a real-time game where you're just trying to trade the cards in your hand. You'll be saying things like 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and then somebody will be like 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and then you guys swap, and then you're like trying to get, in Pit, you're trying to get, I think it was 8 cards of the same type, but you're trying to avoid the bull, because if you have the bull, then you can't score. And so there's like all these like little rules. It might be the bull or the boar. Yeah, one or the other. But either way, Gussie Gorillas is same kind of energy where you're going to be having a card, but the thing is that you don't know what the card is. You're going to be facing it away from you. And as you're doing that, you are trying to see what the other players have, and you're going to be trading cards like 1 for 1, 1 for 1. And then you can actually, if nobody's taking what you have, you can grab 1 more card and basically bid give away 2. This kind of like blind negotiation is hilarious to me. And I also love these types of chaotic games, especially for like a game that you just want to bring out, especially like during the holidays. Like this is the kind of chaotic energy that I love. So that is Gussie Gorillas. The thing is though, is that the scoring is kind of interesting because you can't get 2 of the same card. So if, well, you can, but they cancel each other out. So let's say you get like a 12. If you get another 12, now they've canceled each other out and you can't score either. But there are special cards that you can get, like scissors, which you can cut like 2 copies into 2 separate cards where you score them both. You're obviously trying to get the highest score of cards. So the mixture of those special cards and your numbered cards, you're just trying to get the right combination. If you have the highest total, you get a banana, and the first player to 2 bananas wins the game, obviously, because they're Gussie Gorillas. That is everything that I got from Bitewing Games, except not really. Funny story time. I a couple weeks previous to going to PAX, I actually went on a little Black Friday shopping spree on the All Play website, and I had a great time. I was like getting sold on all of these really, really interesting games. Some of them looked very similar to these games. I had actually bought Soda Smugglers and Puma Fiosi weeks before PAX Unplugged. And when I was at PAX Unplugged and I walked away from the Bitewing booth totally getting sold by Kyle on these games, I like looked at my phone later that day getting a delivery notification for Soda Smugglers and Puma Fiosi and other games, and I was like, oh shoot, I just bought those. so there's that. I mean, props to Kyle. He sold me on a game that I already owned. So I went by the Ninja Star booth. And I've never been by there before. I don't know if maybe this was the first time at PAX, but I went by there and I was super curious because I've been really, really interested, like I said, in trick-taking games. So I got 2 trick-taking games from them. The first one I bought just based on the art alone. I looked at this art, I looked at this box, and I was like, I need that. Look at how freaking cute this is. Come on. That is literally adorable. This game is called The Werewolves Beat Robbers Horror. That is that. What I learned is that it is a social deduction trick-taking game where you're going to be getting a hand of cards, and if you have just one werewolf in that hand of cards, you are a part of the werewolf team. And if you do not have a single werewolf in your hand, then you are part of the village team. And every single kind of round, it's going to be fluctuating on who's on the werewolves team and who's on the village team. I've not actually played this, but I just found that concept to be so interesting and it sounds so much fun. And with artwork as cute as this, I was like, I've got to pick this up. Then we've got the other game that I picked up from them, which was Call of Yeti. Call of Yeti, not even Call of the Yeti, just Call of Yeti. And once again, the artwork was really cute in this, but I was also interested in this game because you're bidding for how many tricks you think you're going to win. Once again, another trick-taking game, but one where you are bidding how many tricks you think you will win with your cards that are actually in your hand. So if you say that you're going to win 4 tricks this round, that means that you actually have to take out 4 cards from your hand and place those down as your bid. So people will have a fluctuating amount of tricks, which I think is very interesting because I don't know how that plays, because you can kind of you can think forward and be like, well, if I think that they think they're going to get, more bids, or sorry, they're going to bid higher. So there's going to be a couple of rounds where I won't be able to even play a trick and I'll automatically not win. So there's like a lot of really interesting thought processes, I think, that could go along with a game like that. So that was kind of the pitch that I got from the vendor there, and I was like, that sounds great. So that is Call of Yeti, another small box trick-taking game from the Ninja Star booth there. Moving on to a game that I missed out on Gen Con. I could have totally bought it between the time, but I got really antsy and I was already at the Bezier Games booth, so I got it. This is the game that I played and I did not understand. This is called Sears Catalog. It is a card shedding game. By not understand, one, I was thinking the whole time like this is about a Sears catalog, like an old Sears catalog. And then as I was looking at all the items during the game, I was like, oh, that's funny. There's all these like werewolf Easter eggs. It's obviously a joke, and I just totally didn't get it. And I've played 2 games of this, and I still didn't get it. So there's that. There's even, my wife pointed out, there's a werewolf in the background of this cover of the box. It's Sears, spelt like a seer. Yeah, there's so many things that I could have noticed, and I didn't notice any of them. So that's absolutely, it's kind of embarrassing, honestly. But this is a card shedding game where you're trying to basically get rid of the cards in your hand. I played it quite a bit ago, so I don't remember all of the details, but one thing I do remember is that I was really bad at it, and it was something that I wanted to play more of and I wanted to figure out. And then I kind of forgot about it, and then while I was at the Bezier Games booth looking at it, I was like, okay, I need to check this out now. So that is Sears Catalog. I'm excited to talk more about this at some point. Gosh, there's a lot of games that I really want to talk about. So I hope that as you were watching this video, you were kind of picking out some of the games that you're most interested in, because if you guys want to see me do a video on something, you got to let me know. That way I can do it. So we'll check out more of Sears Catalog. Now, I've bought everything thus far. All of these were purchased by me. There were 2 gifts that I got at the Bezier Games booth by Jay, a new friend of mine. I had been watching his channel for a lot of Asian board games and trick-taking games specifically. It is called Cardboard East. I would highly recommend you check out that channel. But Jay actually also works for Bezier Games, which I had 0 clue. So that was really, really cool meeting him. We actually even got to play some games, and it was some of the biggest highlights of my convention. So super good to meet Jay. Cardboard East, like I said, the YouTube channel. But yeah, so they actually let me have both of the new silver sets. I'm a huge silver fan. So this really did kind of make my day a little bit. So these ones I got for free. I did not buy these, and I will be doing a video on them as well. But this is Silver Eye as well as Silver Fang. If you do not know Silver, it is a more board gamified werewolf-ish type game where you are trying to make sure that you have the lowest score in your village, or really the lowest number of werewolf attraction. So all of these different cards have different numbers, from like 0 to 13, and these cards are going to be attracting werewolves the higher number they are. At some point in the game, you're going to have 5 cards face down in front of you, and you are going to be able to look at 2 at the beginning of the game. So you'll know basically a little bit of idea of what or how many werewolves you have in your village. But at some point in the game, you're going to be able to, or sorry, on your turn, you're going to be able to draw a card from the top of the deck, and you're going to be able to either swap that with a card that you have, or use its ability, or you can use the top card in the discard pile's ability. So there's like all of these different little levers that you can pull, and all of them have different abilities. You might be able to flip up a card in your village, or you might be able to swap a card that you have with another player's card. At some point, somebody's going to call it and say, all right, let's see who has the most. And if they call it and have the least werewolves, there's even more bonus points to give out. So there's like a lot of cool concepts in this game. I feel like Silver is a game that I played early on a ton, continued to play at, 2-player. Me and my friends, we would do couples Silver. So, we'd be playing basically 3 couples playing one village each. And it was very, very fun. So excited to talk about those. And thank you so much, Jay, for giving these. I don't get a lot of gifts. So I was like, oh, thank you. This is very, very nice. The last game that I got from PaxU, which I really didn't get that many, right? But the last game that I got from PaxU was the Lord of the Rings Duel. And the reason why I picked this up is that I talked to Kyle Farron at the Leader Games booth, and we were just talking about games, and this was one that he was so excited about, that he loved. And I was like, well, I just gotta go get it. So I just went and I bought it. There was a game that was also super hyped at the convention. I had already pre-ordered it, so I didn't find a reason, but that was the Lord of the Rings Tricktaking game. So excited to receive that at some point, but I already pre-ordered it, like I said. But this right here is a Seven Wonders kind of reskin, the Seven Wonders Duel specifically, but with Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings. I've only played base Seven Wonders. I have not played Seven Wonders Duel. So excited to dive into this head-to-head game. Now I know that it changes a little bit because like Seven Wonders was a drafting game, but this is like a pyramid of sorts where you're able to only take off cards that are not under other cards. So I'm curious to see how this works out, and I would love to talk about this more, but honestly I gotta play it first to find out if it's as good as Kyle Farron says. But that is actually everything that I got from PAX Unplugged. But like I said, that is not it. So I've got kind of 2 other little mini purchase hauls to talk about now. The first one's going to be the All Play website for their Black Friday sale, which I made mistakes. Like I said, I got Soda Smugglers and Puma Fiosi, so I'm not even going to show off those games again because that's just embarrassing. Let's start from the top here that I have. And speaking of tops, I got Big Top. This is a part of their, that was pretty bad. This is a part of their collection of games that's, it's not like a trick-taking game, but it's like a small box, big experience type deal. This is a auction game. I just love that, one, it's got art by the Miko. He's a great artist, one of my favorites. But also, this is an auction game that I have never... I used to love auction games as a kid, but I've never really dove into like more modern auction games. Like I was playing old games with my family, and I think this is something that I wanted to try and explore again. And this art being so good, small box, so easy to travel with, I had to check this out. Like this game is 3 to 4 players, 40 minutes. But look at this. It's just a teeny little box. But yeah. What I know about it is that it is auction. That's all I know. And so that interested me enough, and I got it for a really good deal, so we'll see how that is. Next up, we've got another trick-taking game, of course. So many trick-taking games. This is Pies. What I know about this trick-taking game is that whoever wins the trick gets to basically grab a card, and then everybody's going to be grabbing a card, I believe, from highest to lowest number. And those cards are ingredients to make pies, which is adorable. So there's all these different recipe cards that you can use as well in order to score points based on the types of things that you have. You might be getting like 2 of the same kind, 1 of a different kind of deal. Trick-taking, but also recipe building pies. That is adorable. This reminds me of my friend Suze, and I'm sure that she already owns it, but just in case she doesn't, Suze, you should get this game. This is like your game. This was built for you. So that's Pies. Okay, and then this is the bigger game that I got on sale, and I'm excited to play this, but if you know me, I'm not a huge cooperative guy, so I've been exploring with some cooperative games. This one I actually was sold on by Shut Up Sit Down video on it. Essentially, this is Defenders of the Wild. You are going to be basically fighting against the machinery that is plaguing nature and the land, and you as a player, at some point in the game, have to purposefully tap out of the game. And I found that concept to be really charming and very weird and very thematic. So I don't know exactly all the details of how it works, but I'll link that video that sold me on it down below. But essentially the concept of players slowly bowing out from the game, saying, all right, I've done my work. Now you must go, because I think there can only be 1 player left in order to defeat the machine. And I think that's a really cool concept, to have players purposefully kind of letting the reins go and saying, good luck, my friend. That seems like a fun storytelling moment and a fun thematic spin on most cooperative games. So that is Defenders of the Wild. Also, those meeples are looking very, very nice. Very, very much inspired by Root, at least from what I can tell. They look like it. Very cute. That is Defenders of the Wild. That's everything that I got from All Play on Black Friday. Well, except for Soda Smugglers and Puma Fiosi. This is a Devere game called Blind Business. When I was talking about that I like chaotic negotiation type games, Blind Business is another one of those. The theme is really weird here, and I'm sure it probably won't come out in the game, but who knows, maybe. You're trying to get like a team in order to take down this giant piñata. Love the artwork, very 1930s rubber hose style, ever so slightly. And this game, you're essentially going to have your hand of cards faced out away from you, and players are going to be making blind business. You're going to be saying, I want this card, and then, you could say, well, no, you can't have that card. And there's like all these kind of blind negotiation things happening. The thing is that there's also like a lot of double bluffing from what I can tell, because if you decline an offer, then you can get the card or something like that. I need to play this because every time I've heard it described, I don't understand it fully, but I'm interested in how that whole blind negotiation concept works. But I like the idea that you are then double bluffing, like, no, I don't really want this card. But then you're like, but I secretly do want this card. And then you're like, but do they actually want that card? And I love that. Like, you can also try to make it seem like you have something or like somebody has something way worse than it actually is, or way better than it actually is. That kind of chaotic energy is something that I love in gaming. So I got this from Devere. And something I'm really surprised about is that this was like not promoted at all. I had never heard about this. My friend on Blue Sky recommended it to me when I was like, I'm looking for games with that 1930s art style. Like, I want to get more of those. I think that art style is amazing. So picked up Blind Business, and I'm excited to try it out. All right, one more little mini haul. This is going to be games that I got from a website called Portland Game Collective. They do a lot of, that's actually where I got Trick Takers, but they do a lot of games that are not usually available here. They do either reprints or they do like new versions to have more localized shipping for people. I got this game called Haggis. I had never heard of this. I believe this is an older game, but I'm very excited to try this out. This is a climbing game, so card shedding. First person to get out all of your cards, kind of similar to the Sears catalog. These are not trick-taking games, by the way. They're like similar or adjacent, but they're not trick-taking games. But this one is really, really beloved, I've seen, from all the research that I've done. This new version looks really cool. I love this kind of stained glass artwork look. I think that's absolutely gorgeous on all of the cards. So that is Haggis. I'm very excited about that one. All right, next up we've got 12 Chip Trick. This is a trick-taking game with poker chips. Already that had me pretty intrigued, but when I was reading this rulebook, I was like, oh, this is very, very interesting. You will be playing out a number. There's 2 colors of chips. There are basically blue and red. The red ones are like all of the middle numbers, but the blue has kind of the 3 lowest and the 3 highest numbers, being like 1, 2, 3, and 10, 11, and 12. So in between there are all the red chips. But everybody's going to get dealt 2 red, 2 blue. And everybody's going to be playing a chip face up in clockwise fashion. Highest number played wins the trick. And they get to choose one of the chips around the table to put in their scoring pile. Then the rest of the players in clockwise fashion will take one chip and put it back into their hand to play again later. At every single point of the game, everybody's going to have basically 4 total chips, whether the combination of those that you're scoring and those that are in your hand. The round will end when a player has no more chips to play, so they've scored 4. Then everybody's just going to score anything that they already had in their hand, plus whatever they already had. And you're going to look at whoever has the highest score will get a scoring token. And if you get 2 scoring tokens, you win the game. However, if the total of your chips is higher than 21, you bust and don't score anything. So a lot of interesting dynamics. I have not played this yet, but I really want to, because from that read up, from that information, I love the fact that the pool of what is available is fluctuating every single round, because somebody's taking one and scoring it, meaning it's out of the rotation entirely. But other players are grabbing chips, putting them back in their hands. So now you know that some of them are going. Plus, this production is super, super nice. It also comes with coasters as scoring tiles. What? But yeah, this like coming out of the box thing. Oh. It's hard to resist that kind of beauty right there. So that is the 12 chip trick. Very excited to check this one out here. All right, next up is one that I've already played twice actually, and this is a 2-player trick-taking game called The Phantom of the Opera. You may already know this, but I'm a huge fan of musicals, and Phantom of the Opera was one of my favorites as I was growing up. I loved watching the movie. I love the music. It's amazing. And so this was an instant buy for me, just for the theme alone. I heard 2-player trick-taking game where 1 player is the Phantom, 1 player is Christine. In this, you're going to have basically music sheets. There's 3 in the box, and they're different and varying. And the music sheet, you're going to be following the notes. If they are under the center line or on the center line, Phantom needs to win that trick. If they're above the middle line, then Christine needs to win that trick. The Phantom is trying to make sure that the music flows. So he's always trying to make sure that the trick is won by who he needs them to be won by. Christine is trying to slow him down and make sure that he is not able to win the whole sheet music by 2 rounds. The weird thing is that once you fail a trick, like if the music says that they want Phantom to win, but Phantom doesn't win, then you play again. You try it on that same note until the correct music has been played. So that is why Christine is trying to basically hold Phantom back 2 rounds. Because there's just the Phantom's going to run out of time and not be able to finish the sheet music within it. The other cool thing is how much information sharing there is in this game. At the beginning of the game, you're going to be trading 1 card with each other. And based on the cards that you trade, the Phantom player first and then the Christine player at the beginning of the second round, they'll each get an opportunity to choose a number out of those 2 cards exchanged. That number is going to be the special note. Whenever that's played, you're going to be exchanging 2 cards with each other. And also, if that trick had you place a note, you're going to be placing another note. But if you didn't place a note, with one of those special notes played, then you lose a note. This sounds crazy. It sounds nuts, but there's a lot going on in this game, and it was really quick to set up, really quick to play. We played 2 games in like, what, 30 minutes? Amazing. So fun. And we definitely want to play this game quite a bit more. Both of us, I know, really enjoyed it. So I'm glad I was able to pick this up from Portland Game Collective. And the last game that I want to talk to you about was another one that I was so excited to get a copy of. I've actually played this one before, and it is one of my favorites, but I've never had my own copy. And this is called Stonks. Stonks is a stock game, essentially, but it's also a trick-taking game. So this is one of those games where you are manipulating the market. Some of the lower cost cards in the trick, when you play them, you can actually move up the value of these different companies. You are trying to have cards that are able to score you the most points at the end of the game, but this fluctuating company costs are going to be kind of screwing over everything. Whenever you win a trick, you take one card and put it in your scoring pile. And essentially at the end of the game, you're going to be looking at all of your little score symbols on each of your cards in your scoring pile, and then look at their relative position on the company track. So there's a lot of really cool things going on because you are playing a trick-taking game. You're trying to win those tricks. You're trying to keep initiative in some cases because you want to get those cards. You want to choose which cards that you're putting into there. But if you play lower, you're going to be manipulating the market more, and that will determine how value things are. So it doesn't really matter if somebody wins if what they're going for is, you know, the lowest possible value. So there's a lot of different dynamics at play here. This is a great game. I'm so excited that I now have a copy of it, and I want to dive into it even more. But also the artwork, once again, that 1930s artwork is just really doing it for me right now. As I'm playing through Cuphead, playing Townsfolk Tussle, it's just a good place to be. So that is Stonks, the trick-taking game, the last game that I got from Portland Game Collective, and I'm so happy I did. Wow, that was a lot of games to cover. That was quite a bit. I would love it if any of these games interested you. If you have any questions about them, any further questions, you can leave those down below. If you want me to cover some of these games sooner or later, like which ones do you want to see more on, like right now, please comment that down below as well. I do know that I'm going to be doing a video on all of these small box Bitewing games, so that's going to be coming out at some point. I'm excited to cover that. But with that, guys, that is actually it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. Let's go ahead and drop the beat.